Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Don't miss Scott's Days at Ace. It's our biggest lawn and garden sale of the spring. So before you get to work on your yard, head into Ace now to save on Scott's, Miracle Grow, Roundup, Ortho, and more. Now through Monday only, stock up and save over $600 on select Scott's products across the store. And as always, the help is free. Spring is here, and that means so are Scott's Days. Only at your local Ace. Offers valid through March 20th at participating stores. Includes instant savings offers for Ace Rewards members. See store for details.
The following advertisement has been paid for by the big guy Ryback. Are you hungry? You know I'm so hungry, big guy. Hey, Mark, what brings you here? So I'm just here to hang out with my all-time favorite superstar of all time. What brings you here? Well, I'm doing a paid advertisement for Feed Me More Nutrition, available at feedmemore.com. Big guy, that is music to my ears. Did you tell the people about your Ice So Hungry grass-fed whey protein isolate, the best tasting protein on the market? Wake Up Unlimited Energy, the strongest pre-workout on the market, and the big guy all-natural testosterone booster, my personal fave. Big guy, you're on to something with this Feed Me More Nutrition. It is some top quality stuff. Well, thank you, Mark. It is Feed Me More Nutrition, premium quality, the highest quality supplements on the market today. Available now at feedmemore.com.
Hey everybody, Pat Buck here. And before the show begins, we want to remind you to check out Blue Apron. You've probably heard this on probably a million other podcasts, and if you haven't signed up for it yet, shame on you. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. Blue Apron achieves this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. It's affordable, less than $10 per meal. Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Look, you order it, it comes in a nice box, all the ingredients are measured out. 40 minutes or less, you have a professional, well-tasting, good-tasting, whatever the hell you want to say, dinner. Each meal comes with step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card because I can't cook that well, and that's what I needed to get the job done. Guaranteed freshness. I promise that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. Check out this code. Go to blueapron.com/conversations with an S. That's right, conversations with an S. Don't use any other podcast code. Use conversations with an S. That's blueapron.com/conversations. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, and right now, I'd like to introduce a guy who lost his smile, a guy who took his brain and walked away from millions of dollars. He hails from Sin City. Damn it! That's enough for you two. Shut up! You're fired. I think he said we're fired. Shut up! Pat, slap my ass! It's time for conversation with the big guy, pal!
Welcome to Conversation with the Big Guy. I am the big guy Ryback, and I'm sitting here with the one, Pat Buck.
And we're back with another episode. Thank you, everyone, for leaving feedback. Always it was a positive week last week. We got a lot of things done. Unlike this week, it's been kind of negative. But before we get into rather depressing tales or just talk about our weeks and everything, I think we have things we should plug.
Yeah, I think the most important thing, and we'll talk about it on the podcast tonight, but guys, feedmemore.com is temporarily down. We are switching servers into a whole other web team. So now in the meantime, please visit rybackrules.com. That is right, rybackrules.com. It's back. It's back again, and it's stronger than ever.
Is it with an S or a Z?
With an S.
Okay, cool.
Rybackrules.com. And you can buy all your Feed Me More nutrition and Feed Me More apparel at rybackrules.com. Also, Wake Up, It's Feeding Time, the motivational book by the big guy, is on Amazon. And thank you guys for all the 5-star reviews. It is doing great, and I'm very humbled and thankful that you guys have picked it up and are checking it out. And that's all for me this week.
Okay, WrestleProOnline.com. We have shows coming up. If you're in the New York, New Jersey area, please check out our website or join our training school. February 10th will be at Starland Ballroom. February 11th in Brooklyn, New York. I believe we just added you to that one, too. We also have March 11th at the Rahway Rec Center, WrestleProOnline.com. Plenty of stuff there. Bruce Pritchard will be there. Moose, who I think you're wrestling in 2 days, will be there.
Moose!
Whole bunch of stuff going on. CreativeProWrestling.com if you want to be a wrestler in the New York, New Jersey area. And I think that's all I have on my end. We do have a new sponsor to the show. It is Royal Rumble week. And, the Royal Rumble is right around the corner. And you know what that means. WrestleRumble.com is hosting their annual Royal Rumble Pick'em contest. It's the biggest pick'em of the year on WrestleRumble.com. And with $1,000 in cash prizes up for grabs, you do not want to miss out. You pick the winners of the matches. You guess the order of the Royal Rumble entrants, earn points for picking correctly, and the most points wins. It's as simple as that. First place is $500 cash and 2 tickets to Mania. Second place, $200 cash and 2 tickets to WrestleMania. Get the most points for just the Royal Rumble match questions and win 2 tickets to NXT TakeOver Orlando. Visit WrestleRumble.com to see the entire prize list and follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble.
Sign up now at WrestleRumble.com and tell them the big guy sent you.
We're two great advertisers. And if you want to advertise on this show, hit up bookthebigguy at yahoo.com and we can do what we just did for the good people at Wrestle Rumble. All right, so what's going on this week? What
a week. I mean, it has been, me and you have been talking about this. I think we've dubbed this the shit week.
Yeah.
Just with, and I'm always ultra positive, and that's not to say that negative things don't happen to me and yourself, and I've made the most of everything. But first and foremost, I think in talking about, I posted some stuff today on social media about Shira, which we thought we were going to have to go put her down tonight. We record this a few days before Monday, and she. I went over to my dad. She has her tumors essentially have she was on chemo for 7 months and the chemo quit working, and her tumors they popped up everywhere. Her skin, like there's just growths everywhere. And my dad found a new one this week underneath by her, near her crotch region. It's like bigger than a baseball, and it is just blown up this week. And what's happened is now she's having trouble peeing. She was able to poop and everything. Like my dad said she did that today, but he broke down today. Like she was outside and trying to pee and she couldn't. And then she's since he's had her and since I got her 12 and a half years ago, she's eaten all her food every day. And today was the first time she didn't eat barely any food. And my dad just totally lost it. And he's been with her from day one. I got her from my other dog and my dad, and I moved away and went through the developmental system and Deep South and OVW and FCW, and eventually moved home. And I've been in her life since then, but my dad's been with her every day essentially from day one. So I think the attachment level is, and I've been through this now, multiple times with dogs, and he has too. But I know he loves her a lot, as do I. But we need to be careful. I fly out, obviously tomorrow for the shows. And the comp, they kind of said we had to keep an eye on this. Once it starts, there's it's the point of no return. So you don't want her to go on too long and to start to suffer. So we've scheduled it to bring her in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to put her down. And I'm okay. I'm at peace with it. And, if anything, death is not easy because you miss that physical presence. But I know she's going to be in a great place, and I know she's still okay now, and I'm going to go see her tonight. I'm going to bring all the dogs over and hang out one last night. And if you have a pet, we all go through it, but it's worth loving. You know what I mean? It's part of the price of love is you have to accept the death part of it. And the good thing is I got Sophie and Sunny and Secret and my family around, so we'll be fine. I just want to make sure she goes out pain-free, and but it kind of was just the exclamation point on the week with the way things have gone. So,
yeah, I think, that's probably the worst thing by far that's happened. I can't compare it to that. I was going to say, just in a I was like, okay, my problems don't amount to that because I ran out of Propecia for my male pattern baldness, and I was kind of freaking out about it because when you stop taking Propecia, it supposedly just all starts falling out.
Yeah.
So I make an appointment with. What's that?
I was going to say I wouldn't know about that, but I'm not legit bald. I shave my head like every day by choice. So
I think you should let it grow back.
You've told me this several times
now.
Like that seems to be the way to like reinvent yourself. But I look at it, I was like, that only exists like in. Like, to me, that's only cool, like, if you're just wrestling. I'm like, I represent myself in so many other things. I don't want to show up to a business meeting for Feed Me More Nutrition and look like a piece of shit with, like, unkempt piece of shit. Like, oh, hey, guys, yeah, this is my worker haircut.
So I rushed to the doctor, and I'm like, hey, I'm out of, it's annoying because I got to drive an hour to my
What's that like? Like, when you go to are you pretty cool with your doctor? Like, or is it like... Is it like awkward, like going in for Cialis or something, like where like you're like,
I wish my doctor. It's kind of awkward.
Not that I would know about that, but
my primary care physician's just like I signed up for it a while and I've never changed it, so I have to go back there because it's the cheapest rate. If I go anywhere else, it's like I don't want to pay that $50 copay, so I'm being frugal.
Yeah.
So I go there and they won't give it to me. They're like, no, I'm like, I've had it for 4 years. They're like, well, you could have side effects with that. It could cause, sexual functions and prostate
I've heard
things.
that before with that.
I've heard that too, that it can kind of mask prostate cancer. But I'm like, look, I've had everything checked out. I'm like, I need my hair. I'm like, they're like, you can have sexual issues. I'm like, I'm okay with that. Just give me the pills. So I had to fight them for that. I get it. It's not covered by my insurance, so it's a bit of money.
Have you noticed that with that?
No, not with that.
Okay.
I mean, I've noticed things before with like.
I'm very sensitive to things. I can tell instantly if something's bad for me or not. Like
really?
Within days of taking it. Yeah.
You never took any Rogaine or Propecia at all?
No,
Nothing?
I don't give a shit. Like I have the widow's peak on my hair, like the hairline.
Yeah.
But like I've never I don't give a shit. Like even if I had a perfect straight hairline, I wouldn't let I love the shaved head look.
Okay. And I tried to, but we said that in the last episode, Broski bullied me, so I can't do the shaved head.
He's known to be a bully.
Yeah, and he has the same exact hair issues I do. It's completely the same thing. So anyway, yeah, we used the topics, man. Thank God.
That's what the pellets. And I remember it just reminded me of that scene in Shallow Hal, and then he turns around and then the tail afterwards.
So then after that, my check engine light came on, and it comes on and off.
That's
whatever.
Never good though.
Yeah, I know, but I need to get my car inspected, and I knew that. It's been expired for a while. Normally I'm pretty on top of things, but I let it go.
I didn't even
schedule
in all seriousness.
Yeah, it just slipped my mind, dude. So I go to get my car inspected, and I fail instantly. They're like, "Oh, your engine light's on. Something's wrong with it. You fail."
Fuck.
So that was pretty shitty, and I'm trying to think where else I was going with this story.
So what did you have to take your car into the shop on that then?
Yeah, and the Cadillac converter's gone, and it's a fucking $1,000. So that sucks. Now,
that's never good when you have to drop that kind of money into a car that when it's never any good.
And it sucks too because segueing in the last show I had, and I was plugging it on here. I had a show last Saturday, I believe, and it's been really warm up here in winter for winter in New York. But the show that I had, the one fucking day, it was a snowstorm. And I woke up that day, and it was just like a shitty week. So I woke up, and it's 8 a.m, and my wife woke up, and she's sick as a dog. And Swoggle was on this show.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this briefly.
And Swoggle called me, and he's like, hey, man, I'm at the airport. Is my ride coming? And I'm like, fuck, I kind of overslept. And I'm like, all right, I messaged one of my friends to go get him. He's going to get him.
Very big demands from him.
No, he just needed a ride. He's stuck at the airport. I felt bad for him. So,
that's right. You can't reach the pedals, right? Can I say that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Is that a legit thing with him? Fuck, that is. That's very insensitive of me. I apologize if.
Well, I'll get to that. You guys had a little falling out.
Yeah, no, I love him, but yeah, I had to give him a little phone call there.
But then also, so my week's going shitty. I wake up for show day. It's snowing, so I'm like, fuck, because I have all this money invested into a show. I'm a lot of my equipment's there. I have all the money going forward, and I refuse to cancel a show.
Can I ask before, and I don't mean to interrupt, like for fans listening too, and like I'm listening, because what you do is like very unique, I feel like, and you do it very well. When you say like your cost for a show, like, and I'm not asking specifics, but like, and people listening, I think, like, what does that cost to run a good show? Like, is that something that is that too personal to ask on air?
No. I think people need to know this because I think a lot of people are independent wrestling fans, either love it or hate us or whatever. And I think it's kind of, people don't really think about this. And we've talked about this before. It's damn near almost impossible to make money in pro wrestling as far as being a promoter.
Yeah,
it sucks.
I feel that way too. Like, yeah,
it's rough. So when you're running shows, it's easier over time because I've built up and I own my own equipment.
You
but
have a roster too, actually, with the school and
But it wasn't always that way. So like now, all I got to do is, I find the building, I book the building. But, that set aside financially, you got to pay for the building. You have to pay an insurance fee every show in case something goes wrong with the building. In New York, you have to pay a medical fee. You have a doctor.
The medical fees aren't cheap either, right?
For New York, it's not. No. And, I pay a monthly policy to keep, just in case something happens. It sucks. It sucks really bad.
You have to cover yourself, though, because you never know if somebody breaks their ankle or like
it's on you.
Yeah,
pretty much. But for the most part, I think it's just the stress of putting up a show. And the reason why promoters fail is because there's so much work that goes into it. Like when I wake up for show day, I'm stressed out, not just because worrying about the crowd not coming for the weather. I have to go get my ring truck. I'm the one driving the fucking truck.
Yeah.
I got my ring on it, my guardrails, my the ring steps. I have all 300 chairs in the truck.
You do everything. You're in control.
I do everything.
Yeah.
And luckily I have a great crew and people I've trained from scratch and the independent guys, and we all meet up, we all put it up, but there's always little nuances. Maybe something's wrong with the ring. Maybe, someone can't make it because of weather. And on top of that, it's a fucking blizzard. And then I gotta get, I use outside people, I use you all the time. I use big names. I use independent names. They're not all from around here.
I love how I use you, then it's big names after me.
But at least you got to be you're the easiest guy to represent because you fucking get to the airport, you get in your rental car that you get.
I know how to take care of myself. Yeah, I'm a grown man.
But you don't understand from being a promoter that 95% of guys that I book that are quote names, that doesn't happen. I have to go pick them up every time.
Or Swoggle.
Swoggle, of course.
In all fairness, he has a good excuse.
But I'm talking across the board. They're like, okay, who's getting me from the airport? They never would take it upon themselves. Well, I need a car. I'm going to go to the gym and this and that.
I want to be able to go get food whenever I need to eat because I eat a lot. And like, it's worth spending a little money to be able to keep yourself physically and mentally happy. It's worth the expense. Like if you're going to live, like I always said, like if you're afraid to live life and like spend a little money on yourself for what you need to be your best, then like you're never going to have any level of success at the highest rate. Like you're always going to be limited. So,
but I think that, a lot of guys show up and it's almost like not babysitting, but they're like, okay, I'm here, pick me up, which is fine. I book them, but I got to figure out if I have, there's been many shows where I've had anywhere between 3 and 15 names on the show.
Yeah.
So I got to send a car to each different people, make sure they're taken care of. Some of them want to go for food. Some of them want to go for, go to the hotel. Someone wants to come right to the building. Everyone has different demands. This show wasn't that, name-wise. It was just Swoggle and Matt Stryker lives nearby. And,
hell of a tan, Matt Stryker. I'll say it again. Every week I'll say it.
So, and I have my regular guys and, book popular indie dudes. But, so I'm trying to think where I was with this. Oh, so booking the show. I got to set up the ring, make sure it's okay, make sure the ring's fine. Write the card, time the card, make sure all the cues are correct. And this is a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I do is the night before, stuff all the envelopes, make sure everyone has their pay as soon as they walk in. There's always shit to do. So then when you wake up that day and you're like, fuck, it's a blizzard outside.
People don't like to drive in blizzards either, usually.
No, they're dude, it was 3 inches of snow, but people are just panicking. Get to the building. Everything, the show is great. Our pre-sale was the same amount of people that showed up. Luckily, there was no refunds, but it really, honestly, it was a crowd of like 100 people. Had there not been snow, it probably would have been in the 300s. And I draw anywhere between 250 to 1,500 on normal shows. But we got through it. But I remember after me and Swoggle go to eat, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just here. I'm eating with Swoggle, and you cut a fucking pretty hellacious promo on him.
Yeah. On Voxer,
that I had to quickly grab the phone and mute it really quick.
I wanted you to play it out loud because I thought it would be hilarious. But like the little guy did a shoot interview. I'm like, you know, when you watch like YouTube wrestling videos, they'll put suggested videos.
Yeah.
And like for whatever reason, that one came up with Hornswoggle. I'm like, oh, I wonder what he had. I remember you talking about this with me that he was doing this video back before it was like out, and I watch it, and then they get to my name, and like he's very, you could like he gave very straight answers on everything, and I got to plug my phone in actually because it is gonna die. But
okay,
stay with me here.
Sure.
All right, we should be good. Yeah, I think we're good. I'll find out if we cut out. We're gonna have to take a break. So for people that were like, he thought we're a dick, like, and they were just complete dicks, he would just like dick right away. Like, and there weren't a lot of them, but there were a few. But there were like a few guys, like Brock was one of them, and Swoggle said, you know, like, oh, he's really nice to me, but he could be a dick. Or dick, but like not to me, but like he doesn't have to be because he's Brock Lesnar. And like then he got to me, and it was, and me and him get like, I thought for sure it was a fucking thumbs up. You know?
We're all in the same circle. I mean,
and like, and like I'm listening, and like, you know, I literally stopped my cardio, and I go, this little motherfucker, and like,
wait, what'd he say?
I stopped my cardio to fucking Vox him right away because he goes,
what'd he say about you?
He goes,
okay, sorry.
He goes, dickhead, but he goes, not to me. He's really nice. He goes, but he doesn't have to be either. And like, and I was just like, motherfucker, like, I've carried this fucking guy on my back, drunk when he's drunk, me probably too, and to get him to safety many times, and not to say we're the greatest friends in the world, but like, you know, we get along well, and I enjoy him, and I know, but I could tell by how he answered it, he didn't have time to explain. It was a rapid fire, and you know, he voxed me back eventually and apologized. He goes, I didn't mean it like that. And I go, I know. I go, I was fucking with you too partially. I go, if you think I'm a dick, it's cool. Like, it's whatever. But, you know, I thought it was funny, so.
Yeah, it was a hell of a promo. You're like, tell that motherfucker. And I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like, so.
It was probably 3 minutes straight of me just going.
It was.
Yeah.
And it's just a quiet diner with me and him. I'm like, so you talk about him on a shoot interview? He's like,
I was hoping you guys were in the car and you were playing that out loud. That's how I cut that. Like that was.
We did cruise together. We did the ring truck the whole weekend. But,
you talked about like being busy at your shows, and I remember that Brooklyn show.
Yeah.
My first week back when I wrestled Big Dan Moff, and I remember because me and you will like usually bullshit, but I know you're busy when like I know I'm not going to go over and like, hey, what's going on, unless you like come to me and you're like taking a break. And I just remember you like pacing by a couple times, and like I could tell, I was like, fuck, this is such a headache. Like probably you got all the talent. Everyone comes to you though, because if they need an answer to something, you're the one running the show. So like that's like, and I was just like, man, you know, if I have a problem, I just deal with it. But if they have a problem, they got to go to, like, it's just, so I think it's important to touch on that, just like promoters and like, it's not an easy job.
Well, on top of that one show you're talking about where you wrestled Dan Moff, it's tough in New York. New Jersey ones are more laid back because there's no commission, and commissions are they're dog shit. They shouldn't exist. This is, you know,
I agree.
Fake fighting, and why do we need inspectors?
What?
Yeah.
Mark for Life just fucking lost it right now. If he even exists anymore, Snapchat did away with the entire Mark for Life Facebook.
Heard he's been overdosing on that new pre-workout that just came out.
And he's taking 10 times the serving of the big guy every day, walking around with a constant erection.
So that show in particular, I remember I kept pacing, and I'm always walking around, and one of my guys was like a student of mine who's relatively newer. he was getting changed in the one area that I kept having to walk by. And I was hoping he would take it upon himself to like move. And after like the 7th time of stepping over him, I remember I just snapped like, get the fuck out of my, why are you getting dressed here?
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I remember
I think
that show stressed me out because here's what's happening too. In New York, this just became a law. So to run wrestling shows, like I said, every state has a commission. Some don't have any, which is awesome. But in New York, it's very strict. And we normally used to have a doctor at every show, which is understandable. I'm okay with that. But it also sucks because we got to pay for that doctor and we have to pay for a security bond every year. We have to pay for a license every year. It's a money grab, a complete money grab. And we fall under the same jurisdiction as boxing. And now we fall into the same jurisdiction because MMA is legal in New York. So this year, what they did was, because there's MMA in New York, there's a lot more events, they hired a bunch of people to be inspectors. Now, there was people there the night of you and Moth. I don't know if I told you this or even got a chance to speak about it. And they were
I think one of them came up to me and just told me, he goes, that was fucking awesome. He goes, I'm a huge fan. And I was wondering
really?
who it was. Yeah. It was,
okay.
He was like dressed, and I was like, it wasn't a regular fan. Like,
then that's
a fan would wear casual clothes. Like this guy was, and I was baffled by that. I was like, okay.
So there was 2 inspectors there, and they were new because they were boxing people, and but they don't understand. It's funny, that one guy may have understand, but he had a girl with him who does not understand pro wrestling. Yeah. They don't get the fact that it's theatrical.
That might be why he liked me. He doesn't understand pro wrestling.
So after every match, they would run backstage in the locker room and ask every person, like, you know, are you hurt? Like when there was a match where the referee got beat up and they ran backstage and they're like, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? And they're like, he's like, no, I'm just acting.
No,
I'm
you gotta
selling.
be kidding me.
No, I swear to God. Every single match. And there's also rules that they like. We have
selling.
So yeah, I'm like, you did a great job.
What a fan.
You have to have guardrails around the ring in New York. That's a rule. You also have to have a mat on each side, which is fine. Okay, I get that.
I'm okay. I like that. I mean,
but now they're getting crazy where you can't like fight near the guardrails. They're like, they don't want you even using guardrails, or they don't want you fighting on the floor. So anytime guys would go to the floor, they'd immediately get up and they start taking pictures because they're just trying to stooge me off to the New York Athletic Commission.
I would
and
just
trying
ban
to
the guys from going to the floor. Keep it all in the ring. Guys can
you try to say that, but shit fucking happens. And I run a tight ship too. And these other fucking promotions were running that night, and I think Sabu wrestled on a different show, and they're fighting in the crowd. Nobody gives a shit because nobody showed up to inspect.
I would
that
walk
show.
out there and fucking throw them back in the ring and then go to the back every time and just keep putting myself over.
So after I remember one time too, what would they do? Oh, for your match with Moth, anytime you guys were doing, because you guys were doing dives to the outside.
Yeah, I did a suicide dive and then the little house show dive.
And they were literally right by the guardrails taking pictures. And it's a lot to deal with because like all I need is the commission going, well, we're going to suspend your license. I can't run a show then. Or we're going to fine you $5,000 for this. It's fucking ludicrous. And the new law that came out, and I've been stressed out about, is I need an ambulance at every single show now. So now in addition to having a doctor, by law, I have to fucking have an ambulance at every show.
Can I make my entrance at your next shows in the ambulance for Bully Ryback? With the vest? I still have the vest. I would like to relive those. Now that RybackRules.com is back temporarily, I would like to relive that whole scene all over again.
Fuck. I'm trying to think. Does that fit? That might fit in the building. I don't know. So, and I don't mind that. The shows that you're on and like that I have a lot of people at, okay, cool, because I can draw a big house. If I get 500, if I get 1,000 people, if I get 1,500, cool. I'm running a show tomorrow night, me and Hawkins School, Creative Pro. Our maximum capacity is 120 people.
I mean, that's fine. That's a school show.
But at the same time, we're required by law to pay for a doctor. A doctor charges a couple $100. Yeah. The ambulance there's an ambulance, they want to charge us $1,500. Tomorrow,
we're not going to make that on that. We're like, so let me ask you then, is it beneficial running these kinds of shows then if they're going to charge you that much?
I'm going to have to figure out a way around it. I'm legit going to have to be the one that challenges them, or I'm going to do free show donations if you can, and guilt people into if it comes to that. I don't want it to come to that, but
yeah,
like there's no if they really want I don't mind having an ambulance there, but the thing is it's a headache. I call the fire departments like, hey, we're running a show, and they're like, what do you need this for? I'm like, well, I'm having a pro wrestling event. They're like, oh, and they think in their head, they must be doing like this WWE style or huge events. I'm like, no, it's probably going to be 100 people. Oh, okay. Well, and they try to get as much money as possible. It's just all a fucking money grab. All because
there a way
MMA
to
is
set
legal.
up an ambulance fee or on one of the deals for the shows? I don't know.
We've been trying. I've been trying to brother it out with like any sort of ambulance people or EMTs, and it's just a headache. And they're supposed to get 3% of the gate. That doesn't really happen, but like the New York State Athletic Commission is really tough to fucking deal with, man.
Yeah.
Like they're just, it's an unfortunate headache. I actually heard the reason.
Week just in general. I mean,
yeah, it's just been.
I've been good with those, not having a lot, but this week has definitely been one of those hitting my head stupid moments. With I told you the website thing that has been just. I don't know. I guess we could talk about that too, right?
Well, yeah, I heard John Cena shut down your website because of the last 2 podcasts.
Yeah, he paid off Finding Nemo. And so the guy that ran feedmemore.com, a little story on what's going on. Obviously, RybackRules.com is temporarily up and running, and all the Feed Me More nutrition orders and everything have been fulfilled, and we are taking new orders at RybackRules.com. Mm-hmm. This guy... he does that the pro bodybuilder Jay Cutler, whom I wouldn't say I'm friends with or like I don't hang out with him, but I've known of him and I talked to him several times when I was younger at Gold's Gym. We talked about that. And
your man crush.
Yeah, he has this guy Victor runs his website and helps him with everything, and it's his buddy. And
you said he's really good at social media. He's good at all his.
They're the masters of like social media of content and just. He films everything Jay does, and then he makes appearances on it, and he's created his identity, and he has a following now. And like they are, and from all the business books I've read and listened to, and like they are doing, that's why I joke about like I need someone to come live with me to like just record the big guy all the time, because it's like it's hard to do it all on your own, and you get in the zone, and Jay just does Jay, and then Victor's there to film it, and it allows him to grow his brand and gives him exposure. But
essentially, because of the whole supplement stuff and the world that you're kind of been in, but with all the stuff coming out, you're kind of crossing over more into kind of what he does, right?
His territory, yeah.
His territory.
No wrestlers really crossed into this territory before. You know what I mean? This is new. This is definitely something new. Especially at the level that I'm doing it at, and we've had great success, and I'll talk about that. And I can't thank the fans enough and the people enough for supporting Feed Me More Nutrition. But
I think I can name like 25 people that have ordered the pre-workout or the test booster.
I told you, like
I'm one of them.
I'll talk about this, the success of this. I'm getting ready to. My initial investment is getting ready to be tripled off the bat with orders. It's been a huge success, and there's been not one bad review yet. And I'm sure somebody will be listening to this and like, oh, I'll change that. But like, and that's fine, because the people that know, and it is. I put a lot into this, so it's going to be a lot of work, and it's been a lot of work. But I got the web guy that I had. He came because he does work for Jay, and he was recommended to me, and I've been talking to him for a couple years. And then finally, the last like 8 or 10 months, when I decided I was ready to do the website, I got in contact with him and just so some information on this guy. And it's irrelevant as far as like opinions on him and anything, but it will come into play here as you see. And he's a homosexual, and that's totally cool. And I never had a problem with it, and he never made any advancements at me besides sending me chocolates for Christmas, which was. But we'll get to that.
Did you eat them?
No, I gave them to Priscilla, actually, the ex-girlfriend, because she loves chocolate and she lets me watch Sunny. But he always made mistakes and was a little slow on everything. And you would give him instructions, and I put over probably $12,000 into this website, between $10,000 and $12,000, I would say overall.
That's a pretty fucking
over the course, his price was very high, but I always looked at it like he must be the best. And I knew, and maybe I might be a little off with that. And maybe it was 9,000, but I mean, it's in that range. And he, unfortunately, his lover passed away the last year, and he had some very unfortunate incidents happen to him. And I know he had a herniated disc in his back, and he was on pain pills. He told me he went to go get his pain pills the other day. So the mistakes he was making on my website were very basic mistakes. And like I would like my weekly big guy message from the big guy, they were supposed to go out every week automatically. They were never going out. So like and that's just one example. And so there was just, why are you charging people this amount on shipping when I told you this amount? Oh, I'll get it changed. And things took him days. The website took him months to build. Anyways, I launched my supplements, and he'd messed up the shipping in the mobile version where people couldn't check out on the mobile version. And then he was charging people like, and Broski was somebody that ordered the supplements, and he was like, bro, they're trying to charge me $70 something for two things. And I go, what? And and I was like, it's $9.99 flat shipping on that. And then I had to contact him, and he couldn't change it right away. It took him hours and hours and hours. And then there was no shopping cart icon on the page for people to check out. And there were all these problems happening. And then I was getting all these bombarded by messages on social media. This is on my launch, by the way, for the biggest moment for me for the website. I'm already in the other stores, and
you're baby since leaving WWE.
Yeah,
this is and it's it's fucking up.
So, anyways, he gets part of the things kind of running where the desktop version is working, and so we get the desktop version working, and I told you I had thousands of dollars in sales within under 24 hours, and I just it's been great. And then I told him there were so many complications still on the website, and he had not fixed the things that I was being charged for him to fix. And I said something to him. I go, you're not outsourcing this by chance, are you? Because that was something that was brought up to me, outsourcing with web developers. And he got really he's very sensitive. And he goes, well, you're free to take your business elsewhere. And I go, well, I have a lady here in Las Vegas I know that could fix this all right now. Can I have all my passwords, and can you let me have the information I need so she could fix this stuff right now, so that we could just make the most, the most of this right now, and I can blah, blah, blah. He then cut me off and goes, you're going to pay the invoice Monday, and then I'll transfer everything over. You're not getting anything essentially till you pay what I want you to pay. Whoa. So he held my website ransom, hostage until Monday. So Saturday, Sunday, we go through. Finally, we get to Monday, and I pay him his invoice. He charges me $800 for the day's worth of work that he was, or the 2 days or whatever, the thing, which never, if you know anything about website maintenance, I already pay him his fee every month. So he's upcharging me all these extra costs that he always did, and that he never got correct most of the time. And he got really, really offended. He then shut down my website rather than just transferring everything over right away to my new web provider and everything. He shut it down, and it's cost me between $5,000 and $7,000 total now in the process of everything.
Why?
And
he just was mad at you, or
he's mad at me because I had to. When this all happened, when he told me that, I texted him. He wouldn't get back to me. And I called him.
Is it about the chocolates?
No, I called him and left a voicemail, and not even cussing at him, nothing I would like to talk to you, and be this isn't right. You can't do this to me. I own this stuff. And he refused to talk to me. And so I had his work number, supposedly Tech One or whatever the hell is this shitty company supposed to be. I call this number that he always talked about having employees, and I'm convinced it's just him and there's no employees. It's him in his house. And he got all the voicemails to the work number because he was I'm the highest ranking official in the company. But if you have a company, there should be somebody answering those calls.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and I brought up in one of the, and I didn't say anything like, this guy is a piece of shit. And I said, I think he has a pill problem or something because he is making mistakes at a very basic level that no webmaster should be making, that I'm having to ask him to correct himself on. And he's taking hours upon hours trying to figure it out. So he then held my website hostage for the entire week. And I had to play nice, and I paid the invoice to him that of things that weren't done. He just made up a number of a huge amount of money that he wanted paid to transfer everything that I already owned that he had to transfer to begin with. But he knew how much money he was costing me. So we play nice and we get it all done, and he finally has transferred everything over. But now we have a 5 to 7 day waiting period with the hosting company.
Okay.
With everything. So I had to create RybackRules.com to run the website until FeedMeMore.com clears, and then we're back, and everything's going to be better than ever. And the lady I have now is amazing, and she built my website. She built a brand new website in less than 24 hours. That took him like 3 to 4 months to do. And do a shitty job at that.
Surprised you didn't kill this guy.
Like, so I have his address and all that. Like, it's one of those things, and I've debated, what am I going to do? Go down there and beat the shit out of him? Like,
yeah.
The best thing I could do is I called the bank, and we got the amount disputed and reversed. And like, because he didn't provide the services he was supposed to provide. And he's a horrible human being. And like, I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars for these domain names, and for feedmemore.com and feedmemorenutrition.com and .net, and now RybackRules.com, and for him to try to hold those hostage, and it had nothing to do with the situation, and he was upset. And I told you this, it was like breaking up with him, and then I left him for a woman in his mind was what was going on.
Broke his heart.
Yeah. And so he was being as vindictive as he could rather than just be a professional. And I go, this isn't personal. I go, it's just business. I go, now you're costing me money. I said, I'm going to move my services over. I said, there's nothing to take personal over this. But he couldn't accept that. And he was so offended that I left voicemails to his work because he wanted to get back to me. If he would have just talked to me, we could have worked this all out and talked. But rather than he wanted to act like a baby. So I had to call his work and express my concern to this fake work number. And then he was mad that I brought up pain pills. But he admitted to me that he was going to get pain pills. And he's making really, really, really shitty basic mistakes. And so I said on the voicemail, I think there's a possibility that pain pills might be a problem here, because he left what he was doing to go get pain pills for a herniated disc. And I just and I told him, I go, and no offense, I go, I got my own issues, man. Like, I go, we all are hurt. Like, so don't, like, you're crying a river for no reason. Like, just do your job that I'm paying you to do. I don't complain to you about my personal problems. So, but I was always sympathetic with him about everything. But he showed his true colors this week, and he's mad. And I told you, I will always defend myself when somebody does something bad to me. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, okay, I'll let you talk down to me now, and give me the website when you're ready to give it to me, sir. Like, fuck that. Fuck you. I'll fucking take it, and I'll take my money back, and the fucking joke's on you, loser. So
it's been a rough week, but, hoping we can... I don't know if I was thinking of a transition to kind of bring this podcast on a happier note.
No, it's just one of those. It's okay to vent every once in a while, and like I said, and now I have the web lady that's in charge now. It's me and her have such a great relationship right off the bat, and she understands me, and we're going to be making some really cool changes to feedmemore.com and Ryback Rules temporarily until it transfers over, and you make the most of it. It was stressful while it's hard starting something new and having your heart in it, and having somebody willingly hurt you for no reason. So, but I will say the positive is I'm now in Las Vegas. If you live in Las Vegas, I have Feed Me More Nutrition is now in Spartan Nutrition and Pumped Up Fitness Nutrition in Las Vegas. And I'm growing. I'm talking with LVAC right now and hoping to be in every LVAC here in the next few weeks. So things are going great with Feed Me More Nutrition and I'llPumpYouUp.com. And again, it's available at I'llPumpYouUp.com. The numbers are moving, are very, very, very good. Not only this early on, just in general. And thank you guys for supporting it. The products are legit. They work. You heard Stu Bennett put him over huge on his Twitter and social media. And, he's a pre-workout guy. And he just said this is the best thing he's ever taken since Jack 3D. So, which is
sweet.
And it doesn't have any of the harmful ingredients. So we're off and running.
All right. On a positive note, I also hear a rumor you might be in number 26. Is this true?
There have been rumors circulating, mainly because I think I posted it. I am, in fact, I have worked out a new deal with WWE, part-time basis, very, very part-time. And I will be number 26 this year in the Royal Rumble. I was adamant about being in later in the Royal Rumble. So we have agreed on number 26, and I will be posting my ping pong ball that I drew with the number 26 on it while meeting with Vince and Hunter. Vince had no pants on, by the way, in that meeting. Hunter was very professional. Looked like he took it seriously. Vince, no pants, but 26 in the Royal Rumble.
I'm looking forward to that. Everyone's going to be looking at that countdown clock, waiting for number 26.
Hashtag
in the
feed
Rumble.
me more, 26 Royal Rumble.
We did have a fan question from good old Jimmy B from Louisville, Kentucky, and he asked,
Wait, is his name really Jimmy B?
No. No, it is. The IC title you mentioned was one of your most positive feel-good moments when the guys were clapping when you walked through the curtain.
Yeah.
What are some of your more embarrassing moments?
Is that a legit question?
No, I just made it up. No. That's a good question, yeah.
That day of the IC title, actually. So I don't think we talked about this before. The Corpus Christi was where I won the Intercontinental Championship. They have a really nice Gold's Gym in Corpus Christi. And the guys that know me, like Santino, and that would ask me sometimes for different advice, like nutrition-wise and wrestling-wise. Get that in there. How do you do that power bomb like that? Oh, I just go as hard as I can. I took this stuff called OxyCleanse, which is a colon cleanser, and it's oxygen based. So you take like 4 or 5 pills the night before, and it makes you essentially shit like between 5 to 10 times the next day, and cleans out your entire system. You take it for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then you can chill out on it.
And what's the benefit? To look leaner or just to cleanse your body?
It cleanses your body, but you definitely get leaner.
Okay.
And I think this is the perfect time to take a break. I have to use the men's room. So.
And we're going to take a break right here. We'll be right back. As we take a break to refill the old wine glass, what goes better with wine than food? And where do you get that food? You get it from BlueApron.com. Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone. Look, it's a pain in the butt to go to the grocery store. So I want to live my life through Amazon, but through Blue Apron, because I want fresh food to arrive to me. Blue Apron, you go out, you go to the restaurant, high-end grocery chains, but this one, you can spend under $10 per person for a delicious meal that comes right to your door. It's flexible. Customize your recipes based on your preference. If you like seafood, you can get it. If you don't eat it, and I don't trust you. But there's no weekly commitment. You only get deliveries when you want them. Guaranteed freshness. Something goes wrong, they will fix it, and they'll get it right back to you because they're shipping the highest quality ingredients to all of their customers. I highly recommend it. I use it weekly. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free. You can't beat it. 3 free meals with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/conversations with an S. Conversations. You will love how good it feels, how it tastes, to cook incredible home-cooked food. I messed that last line up, but who cares? Go to blueapron.com/conversations. Don't use any other podcast code. Use ours because they'll give a little kickback and hopefully keep feeding me and the big guy. blueapron.com/conversations. Enjoy the rest of the show.
And we're back.
We're back. And we were talking about Corpus Christi. You had a story to tell?
So the day that I won the Intercontinental Championship, I took those colon cleanse pills the night before. And that was my first day back on them. And usually my body, you adjust to them pretty quickly where they don't bother you too much. But when you first start them back up, for me, because I eat so much food, it would make it where so essentially if I had to fart, I would shit myself. But I won't know until it happens the first time. So earlier in that morning at the hotel, and and my poor ex-girlfriend and anybody that knows me, the big guy is a fart machine. That is headlines for the dirt sheets. It just comes with the territory, so take it or leave it. And I woke up at the hotel one morning and just thought I had to let one out, and I was fuck. And luckily I had to shower and get ready. But it just you got to throw out a pair of boxers, and it's a horrible situation. And fuck anybody who's listening. I'm human too, just like all of you, and we all go through the same shit, literally. Granted, I put these things in my body to cause this. So I get to the gym, and every time before I go to the gym, I'll go sit down and have a nice breakfast, usually at like IHOP or Denny's, and get some egg white omelets and some oatmeal. So I had this big breakfast. Then I go and I stop, and I'll usually have 1 cup of coffee, and I'll usually I'll either get like a small coffee or a medium coffee at that point in time before I had my pre-workout when I was on the road. And I had my stuff when I was home pre-workout wise, but I wouldn't take that on the road, and I would have like a smaller medium coffee, and I got to the gym and I pulled up, and there's all the fans out there, and it hits me like I have to just shit. So like I rush in and I go, I'll be right back, guys. And I get in and they let me in, and I get to the men's room, and I always go to the handicap stall, and I don't mean any offense, but I like the bigger stall because I like more room.
Yeah, leg room.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I always say like handicap / big guy stall. Like I feel like if you have any width to you, you need a little extra room. I don't like being like packed into a little room there when I relieve myself. And I pull like my pants down rapidly, and I couldn't hold it, and just a shit storm hit the Gold's Gym handicap stall. I kid you not, it was the most horrific looking thing, and I just go, oh God, and I turn around, there's shit on the wall, just on the floor, and like diarrhea, just so bad, and like. And this is supposed to be, just what a sign of things to come if you really look at it. And
so what do you do with that?
I cleaned it all up, and
good for you.
I'm not gonna. Who the fuck is gonna go? I would not wish that upon any human. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't wish that upon Vince McMahon himself to have to go clean that up. Like, that is like I did it. I fix it. Like, and I was like, man. So I cleaned it all up. To the best I could. There's probably some shit in the cracks of the floor. Gold's Gym, Corpus Christi, the big guy Ryback is very sorry. But somebody right now is listening and be like, that motherfucker, I cleaned that up, the rest of it. But I got it as good as I could. And so for me, I didn't want whoever went in there next. I didn't know if somebody was waiting for the stall or not. And I didn't want somebody. So that was probably one of the more embarrassing situations. But you know what? On top of that, a funny story. This brings me up to story time, just real quick. So we're on a plane ride. Me, Daniel Bryan, everybody. We were coming back from Japan, I think, and it was me, Daniel Bryan, and Natty Neidhart all sitting next to each other, and like all right by, like in the vicinity. We all had aisle seats, and Peaches, the WWE trainer. Trainer number 1, Larry Heck, is trainer number 2, I believe, behind him. And so a kid was sitting next to Daniel Bryan. He may be like a 10-year-old kid. And I guess he got real bad food poisoning and his stomach was really upset. He asked to get up and go and use the bathroom, and Dan let him out. And we see him like run to the first class section because we were not in that for that trip. And the kid came running back past us, like, just sprinted past us, and we're like, what the hell? And we're all sitting there, and maybe like 2 or 3 minutes go by, maybe, and we all at the same time start smell. What's that smell? And so just to put this into kind of add to the story, I always, for these long flights back to the United States, would find a food place and just buy, sometimes $80 to $100 worth of food to last me the whole plane ride. To like
Jesus Christ,
I found like a McDonald's, and I got like a bunch of burgers and chicken. They just saw me eat like 3 double quarter pounders with no bun. I was starving because when you're over there, you don't eat as often because the food choices are not the same.
Okay.
So they all just saw me eat all this meat, and the kid runs by. I kid you not, and I've never been more insulted in my life. I think this was like something. all of us start smelling, and then Dan, Natty, and Peaches all look up at me at the same time as I look at them. And like, but like they didn't look at each other, they looked at me. And then we all looked down at the same, like we couldn't have scripted this any better. We all looked down at the floor, and there's two perfectly placed piles of shit that look like soft serve from McDonald's. Like just perfectly topped off with a little twist on the top. And and they still kept looking at me. And it wasn't fucking me, guys. I had to fucking say that. And we all laughed hysterically, but then we realized it was the kid. But to this day, me and Dan have talked about this. It still amazes us, and Natty too. Peach, all of us, it comes up from time to time that we are just so amazed that the kid ran by at that velocity, and he couldn't have been wearing underwear. He had to have just
fell out?
Going commando with the shorts or something, and the shit just fell out perfectly onto the floor. Like, I've never seen, I'm baffled to this day by it. And
I'm baffled right now. Well, yeah.
But anyways, so the whole plane, the whole section we were in, everybody starts flipping out. What the fuck is going? Oh my God. Mm-hmm. The entire, this is one of those huge international planes, smells like pure shit. And everybody knows I obviously didn't do it now. And
I love how you're accused. You got up and just took a dump in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah, I was just I couldn't hold so the flight attendants, the women, nobody knew what to do because this doesn't happen every day. This isn't this isn't you don't.
It's a biohazard. It's pretty. That's pretty gross.
You don't train for this in flight attendant school. This is And so we got two huge piles of shit, and so my first thing was if I with dogs and everything, let's scoop the shit up and get the main majority of the shit out of there. And then find something to scrub over. There's soap in the bathroom. There's a million different ways to do this.
You got to get it done. Yeah.
But we didn't do that. So everybody's debating on what to do. I kid you not. This went on for at least 45 minutes of what do we do with this shit? Nobody knew what to do. None of the people on the plane were going to get up and fuck this and just scoop it up and go throw it in the toilet. The flight attendants are they're messaging back to, fucking the United States, what do we do in this situation? Somebody shit on the plane, nobody knows. So 45 minutes goes by, and then they came by, they were like, does anybody have one of the laminated place cards in the seat? So they got a laminated, one of the things on how to exit the plane, and they scoop it up, and they got rid of it. But then they took coffee beans and poured, I kid you not just a little bit of coffee beans over it, and that worked to diffuse the smell. Yeah. They poured entire jars of coffee beans all over the floor.
That's not a bad idea though, right?
No, but you got to remember, this is the beginning of an 11-hour flight or 10-hour flight.
Oh, okay.
This is within hour number one of the flight.
Oh my God.
You got to remember, they got carts and everything they got to wheel around and
this is one of the greatest stories I've ever heard.
They then put blankets over the coffee beans to try to hide that they have coffee beans all over the ground. Well, the fucking carts don't roll over fucking blankets with coffee beans underneath them. It is, so the entire flight, there's they're getting stuck and the coffee beans are just spreading all throughout the plane. And it is the most hysterical thing to this day that I've ever seen. And but so it gets even better. The first 45 minutes, we're all debating on how to get the shit up off the fucking floor. This poor kid is locked in the bathroom, 10 years old, and nobody has checked on the kid. Not
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to remember, probably 10 years old. Who knows if he's a wrestling fan or a WWE fan? But his parents were Japanese and American, so they were splitting custody. That was the story.
Yeah.
So he was flying back home to see his mom, I believe, from his dad. And he had nobody on the plane with him. So this happened to a 10-year-old kid all by himself.
Oh man.
He shit in front of all of us, of all people, and we don't know if he knows this or not. He's in the bathroom, and so I finally one of the flight attendants, I go, has anybody checked on the kid? And she goes, what? And I go, holy shit. And I get up and I go to the back of our section, and I find out where the kid is. He's locked in the bathroom. So there's two different versions of this story, and I will tell both just because I will do it justice. Daniel Bryan's version is that I went back to the back of the plane to the bathroom and I preached to the kid the power of the secret. And then I taught him about the benefits of positive thinking, and that if he believes it didn't happen, it didn't happen. And that I secreted this kid out of the bathroom and got him back into his seat. That is what Daniel Bryan to this day tells people.
It's not a bad story. Sure.
No, not at all. The truth is I went back there and I got the kid and I
beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. I went in the stall, the shower scene all over. I slapped him, and I went in there and I talked to him, and I told him a couple stories about myself and people that I knew that shit themselves. At that point, I hadn't shit myself yet on the day I won the IC title, but I just let him know that we're all human beings and it happens to everybody, and nobody's going to look down on him or be embarrassed, and that he would actually be very courageous to be able to go back to his seat and hold his head high and live up to the moment and laugh it off, and that we're all human and embarrassing things happen to humans all the time, and nobody is exempt from them. And we got him cleaned up, and the flight attendants then helped out, and we got him cleaned up, and we got him back to his seat. And
how'd you get him clean up? You had to
we had to use the water and the faucets, and they had different. I think he had a change of clothes in his bag.
Okay.
And we took his shoes off and gave him slippers to kind of wear because he had. But I think shit happens to everybody. Nobody's exempt. Every human being, doesn't matter how famous, how rich, how powerful. I think the moral of the story is we're all human beings, and we're all gonna come across shit one way or another. So, it always made me smile that Dan told everybody that I told the kid about the secret, and that's what got the kid to come out. So. I'm okay with that version going around too, but I thought I would tell the truth on what really happened on the subject.
Man, if that was great. Fuck, that was exactly what this episode needed. Was that story? Fuck, I don't think you could top it.
Shit week, shit story. I think that's
right.
You know what? Did I ever tell you about? Since we kind of just go free ball it sometimes. And,
yeah, of course.
Did I ever tell you about the story in the international tour? Where me and the Usos were wrestling the Wyatt family.
Is this another crap story?
No.
Oh, just triggered something in your memory.
Yeah, just a funny moment. So, as you know, the Wyatt family, all very serious characters, and Luke Harper's known to have fun out there on live events and do a little bit of posing and flexing, and he'll have fun with the crowd. And Bray,
he's great.
Bray, especially TV and Brado's a very serious individual, and I love that. He's very Bray
protective, or just kind of
nope. He's not even maybe partially protected, but and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I'm the same way. when used in a serious fashion, you have to be very. I think, and live events are different. I think live events you can have fun occasionally, and everybody that knows anything in this business knows that. But it's hard to get Bray to crack out there. It's not easy to get Bray to smile. So, but my goal was to get Luke Harper to crack this night. Mm-hmm. And so I put a banana in my singlet, and I do my entrance, and I go into the match, and it's me and the Usos, and we're staring off with the Wyatt family, Eric Rowan, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and I think Braun was on ringside that night for a 3-on-3.
Oh, so he was already involved in this. Okay.
Yeah. And while we're staring each other off in the ring, I pull the banana out of my singlet and I peel it gently and just start eating it, in which all of them just get the referee loses it. First of all, they all lose it, start laughing. I eat 3/4 of the banana, mm-hmm. and I take the banana and the rest of the banana and the banana peel, and without breaking eye contact with them, I throw it to my side thinking I'm throwing it to the floor.
Yeah.
In which I thought I threw it on the floor. I'm a little stronger than I think, I guess. I hit the lady in the front row who happened to be a very old woman who,
Oh boy.
to this day, the referee tells me it's the funniest thing he's ever been a part of. It hits her in the face. She wasn't even paying attention to anything going on. She probably got it dragged along to this fucking fake fighting event.
Yeah.
She's just sitting there just fucking miserable. And she gets hit in the face with a fucking banana peel from the big guy Ryback. And I had no clue. And everybody's just laughing hysterically. And then we go back to our respective corners and then do the match. But that just triggered that moment. It was one of those cool moments with the guys that you like that share with the fans. So,
Man, very cool. Man, 2 good stories that came out naturally. We didn't prepare for this at all. Where do you want to go from here? Do we wrap this up, or do we? I think we've been.
No, I think people like the longer episodes. Quite frankly,
Well, I had a couple subjects here.
I know I think the name game was a popular thing. I think, and I think it's really cool to mention too. Like on the rise with the conversation with the Big Guy podcast and with myself and yourself, Pat Buck. I think we were at a very steady climb, and I think it's important to let fans know that when we started this, and I have my reasons for doing this, and you have your reasons for doing this, and it's one of the things is we enjoy. Like I said, this is my favorite thing to do every week. Like I really,
Yeah, me too.
It sucks that we had a shit week and it kind of everything going on, but everything is turning around and turn negatives into positives, and that's what we do. We're human, and people can kind of hear us live through this, and it's one of those things that we have this kind of week that we can come here and do this and just talk about whatever we need to talk about. And it's not the most ideal circumstances this week. And, but our listens, our fan base is growing considerably. And for me personally, I can't thank you guys enough. It was something I knew when I got into this, it wasn't going to happen overnight. And we're on week 22?
Yeah, I think so. 22.
I believe it's week 22. And, I think speaking for both of us, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. And I think the Bruce Pritchard and them, I think, played a huge part in help getting some new ears on this. And, and they have a great following. And I do the Vince Russo podcast coming up this week, and he has a good following, a great following, and he treated me nothing with respect. And I can't say enough good things about him. And
it's really cool to cross-pollinating, the fact that it doesn't have to be protective. You could appear on this show, they can go to that show, we can mention each other, plug each other, and,
it's the way it
helps
be.
Everybody.
Just because people before us did things a different way doesn't make it right. And I think that and I truly believe the more you give, the more you get. And I'm not doing this to get a pat on the back, or like I promote them because I'm genuine fans of them, and they provide me entertainment, and I can't thank them enough. And also, I told you today, too, Donald Woods from Forbes had the interview. If you guys check it out, I posted it on social media. The Forbes interview this week online. And the guy, just a good fan that put out a positive message this week, and did a great interview with me. And I can't thank him enough. It's just
awesome.
We have arrived, and we're going to do nothing but continue to grow. And I think there's life after the WWE. So
yeah, they're absolutely, for everybody listening, because we do have a ton of friends that we talk to on a considerable basis, that there is, I think, big life after WWE, where it depends on what your loves are, but I think that it's an interesting time period to live in. If you ever, I feel like a lot of people used to leave that world, and it was just dunzo. That was it. You know, you're stuck. I'm
not like everybody else, and that's what I'm trying to like. And it's not about me being different than everybody. It's that you guys are allowed to love wrestling and love other things, and there's nobody. Your success in this world doesn't have to revolve around just pro wrestling. You can continue to do pro wrestling and do many other things, and opportunities will come to you when you keep your mindset in the correct mindset, and you will attract the right things. And nothing but great opportunities have presented themselves, and I get to continue to wrestle, which is the best part. And my fans, I have a better relationship with fans now than I ever did, because they get to see the real me, and it has cut down tremendously on the amount of hate that I've gotten, because they get to know me. They're not judging me solely by a character now; they're judging me by how I present myself, and it's a good thing, man. So. But nothing but love for all those podcasts. And, I've talked about Austin and Jericho. Phenomenal podcast. And
Sure.
It's all, you compete, but you're not competing. Everybody has their own niche and their own format. And it's, I think I'm more current with everything going on. I've been in the system, and I'm not 10 or 15 years removed or anything like that. But there's these guys, but I can't talk about stories about guys I grew up watching like these guys can, or like the Attitude Era. So everybody brings their own thing to the table, and I think it's a really cool thing, and I think it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. So
I think so too. One thing, if you want to play the name thing, I had this here. This was pretty big news this week. Was Kurt Angle going into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
We don't really talk about a whole lot of topical stuff, but I think this was kind of a big enough thing, and I thought it was really cool that, not to relate it to this show, I was personally trying to book Angle for 2 matches. One against him and Cody are going to wrestle each other for a 3rd time. I was trying to get that happening at my place, but it didn't work out. But he wanted to work you as well before he, went back. He said, actually, aside from Cody, you were the only person he wanted to wrestle in the independents, so maybe wanted to touch on that.
Well, I would give him a much better match than Cody, first of all. So.
Jesus Christ. I feel like you guys are always in this competition with each other.
I told you, I like people to challenge me to try to blow me up because people think that I get blown up, and then they wrestle me, and then they realize that I can keep going no matter what. So and I've always heard he's a machine in the ring.
Well, he is a
legit machine.
He told Mondo the best advice who told me that he said that he gets blown up or he loses his win super quickly, but he knows
he recovers. He does conditioning.
He recovers.
Yeah.
He's like I'll get tired instantly, but I'll recover super fast.
That's why I do
burpees.
Yeah, the burpees. It's the ultimate conditioning tool, and I've told anybody, if you're an independent wrestler out there, learn how to do the proper burpee. And I told you, the proper burpee is doing a full squat and knowing how to drop your hips and do a full squat into a push-up, chest to ground, explode up, back to your feet, squat, jump, hands in the air, and then repeat at whatever pace that you're going to go at. You have to have the squat and the burpee.
Because I remember you were getting angry. You're like, look at this fucking guy. He's got a record. He's not even doing it properly. There
were
like
YouTube
clip.
videos of guys not doing the burpee with the squat. You're not blowing up your legs then, which your legs take up the most oxygen. And my legs are very big. And the more muscle you have, the more oxygen you consume. But burpees are the ultimate conditioning tool. And they're not my sole conditioning tool, but they will get you in shape quicker than anything else. And I take pride in being able to bust out 200 burpees and don't get me wrong, it takes time.
Wait, now it's 2. I thought you were on 125.
No, but I've done 200 on select days when I know that I need to and it's not. Don't get me wrong, it's not every day, but every day is between 50 and 75 with other cardio just to get my heart rate pounding through my chest. And that's what Kurt Angle talked about. That's what happened with me. I've learned I recover really quick now. So I get blown up at whatever number, 20 something, and then I take a little 20-second break and I'm ready to go again. And that's what so that for me is I think man, I would love to be able to get in the ring with him. That with him, Kenny Omega, there's a few guys that would be really, really cool. So
it's still there's still time. You never know. I wonder if he's going to wrestle again, but
I think in all fairness too, and it's worth mentioning with Kurt Angle, you have to. This guy has a mindset like very, 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 very few human beings, and he was training at least minimum. I would say probably 8 hours a day when he was in the Olympics. I bet you he was training day and night, and he set a goal. And he busted his ass and he did it. And then he got into the wrestling business. And I think we all kind of saw what the wrestling business did. And it has its ups and downs with everybody. And I think to take a guy that's that strong-minded to be able to dedicate himself to success at that level, the Olympic level, and not only dedicate himself, but actually do it and win a gold medal. That is, you are talking serious commitment on a whole other level of mindset. That just shows you how bad the wrestling business is from the 4 to 5 day a week perspective on how it can break down a human being, and anybody that pushes.
Oh yeah, okay.
And anybody that pushes themselves at a high elite level, he pushes himself at a high level. There's for a fucking guy like that, average isn't. There's no average. He can't wake up and be average. It doesn't exist in his mind. That's like, and like, so you have to remember to do that day in and day out on a WWE schedule will wear on you eventually. And I think to be able to witness him go, we talked about this, to experience these things at a human being level that human beings go through, because we're all human. No matter how mentally strong you are, we're still all human at the end of the day. And to see it break somebody down and to have him have his struggles, I think it's so fucking great that he's been able to get himself together and create a positive out of all of this. And
sure.
And he is riding strong right now. And to kind of culminate it with, and to cap it all off with the WWE Hall of Fame, I feel like, and everybody says they wish his career was longer in the WWE. He doesn't need to, his career is fucking amazing. And his story is amazing. And it didn't need to, Hall of Fame wise, he is more than Hall of Fame worthy. And he is there with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H, that whole period, and Undertaker. He is every bit at the same level, if not higher, than all those guys. And to have those struggles and to rise above again and not be there to do it all, I think even speaks more for the situation. So I don't know him well. I met him once here recently at my first week back after all my surgeries, at my appearances for that Northeast Wrestling, and then back during Tough Enough. I met him one time, and I'll never forget. It was in Cleveland, and it was in a locker room where there's the regular locker room, and there was a very small room. And I remember that because sometimes I would get changed in that small room whenever it was open. Sometimes the agents had to get changed in there. And Kurt was sitting in there by himself. And I was going to leave the building, and I thanked him one night after Tough Enough when we were up there, and I was fucking nobody. And I hadn't proven myself in the wrestling world. And being what I've been through, and he very easily could have just get the fuck out of here. Like, he didn't have to like do anything. And I just said, thank you very much, Kurt. And he goes, I look forward to wrestling you someday. And that was all he said to me. And I always thought that was fucking really cool. And to him, and being in that position, I shouldn't say that position, but being up there and knowing that it was, he didn't have to do that. So, and yeah,
that's cool.
It would be cool to wrestle him. Just to see what I have, you know what I mean? I like a challenge, and it's like Brock. It's like I want to see what I have, and because I know what I have, and I want to see what he has, and it's about going out there and spending yourself, and you know what, you're fake fighting, but at the end of the day, the fans appreciate the effort, and spending yourself and putting your body at risk for their entertainment, and I think we can go out there and fucking kill it. So. I look forward to it. It'll happen one day. So congratulations, Kurt. You are more than deserving.
Well, there are things we never talked about on here. We actually kind of mentioned it on an episode that we actually deleted. I forgot why we deleted that. I can't remember.
I think we were both really drunk, I think, is ultimately
that might have been it. We might have said a lot of horrible things to a lot of people. It was very early on. It's before the shows got. Now we're in our own groove, and now we're doing good.
Yeah.
But we never addressed things that. Kurt, I think it's ironic that he had a longer career in TNA than he did with WWE.
Yeah.
It was way that long that but we never addressed, their
You know why that is, though, right?
Why?
Because the schedule. I think that he was able to take a lighter schedule.
Okay, sure, yeah.
That wrestling 4 to 5 days a week, I think people need to look at. Just because, and I think Vince and Hunter, they need to look at the scheduling. Just because you've done things a certain way for so long doesn't mean it's the right way. I think guys would benefit greatly from going to a 3-day schedule and letting their bodies rest more. And like they're still working.
3 days a week is still tough.
Two live events and one TV, or a pay-per-view and one live event, one pay-per-view, one TV. and keep your guys, have them do media work on one of the days. Get them, if you need them to make you money, have them do promotional work on the other day, and have it where that's the day where day 4 is a media day or a promotional day where you live. Like, I just think they've done things a certain way because they're a business and they're looking at the bottom dollar and the bottom line. I think you got to start to question things, and like, you look at all the past examples of the wrestlers who have died early, and guys that have become addicted to alcohol and to drugs. It's because of the schedule. And not to say, and there's other issues at play, but that schedule doesn't help anybody. And you need to be able to with your loved ones and your family. And I think 3 days a week gives you an opportunity to have a normal life. 4 and 5 days a week, you're too rushed. And I've lived it and I know. And I think because family is the most important thing in life, and business is great. And making money is great, and we all sell or be sold. I get it. But doing the right thing is also important. And I think Vincent Hunter and Stephanie and Kevin Dunn and everybody who's anybody there needs to look at the fucking equation and look at everything and be like, you know what? We've done things this way. We've made a lot of money, and we made a lot of fans happy. But it's not worth it to have people die young that have made us who we are. And we want to cut it back, and not saying you're making anything easier, but you're just giving people an extra day to just live a normal human life and you could have them work other ways from home and make the company money. And I think everybody would be all for it. You got guys with families and kids up there that you're living in hotel rooms every night, and fans don't understand. They think it's glitz and glamour, and it's not. It's anything. It's the exact opposite. And
do you see yourself ever being full time anywhere again, or no?
No. The ultimate freedom in life is working for yourself. And Stu Bennett turned me on to a book called The 50th Law, which is the sequel to the 48 Laws of Power. And in that book, I'd already decided what I was going to do. And it was listening to that book that I decided that I need to be working for myself to be ultimately happy with myself. And not to say that I wouldn't like at some point, and I don't agree with everything WWE and with Vince and with Hunter, and I don't hate them, and I'll say that time and time again, but I will stick up for myself because they know what they have put me through and what they have done. And I want to make things better. And that's what I'm the proudest of, leaving and speaking up on things that guys don't speak up on. And not because I'm cool and I'm trying to be cool and different, but I want to make it better, not only for the guys that I'm friends with there right now, but for the next generation of guys, because it's so hard to do that. And anybody who's ever at a top level there, you're making so much money that you're just looking out for you and your family, and that's totally understandable, and you don't want to let that go. So it's like, it's hard to. And I was at a top position at one point. I left in I would say a mid card position. Yeah. But I would say with great value still, where I feel I can spread that message and do my best to raise awareness. And it's not to try to fuck them over or like anything like that. It's to try to get them to better the product and to better everything. And ultimately, I think that's what everybody wants. So, you know.
Well, one thing that I had here, we never talked about other companies. There was grumblings online. I don't know if we ever even addressed, for a while there was things about New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about it here. I can't remember if we have or haven't.
I'm totally no. We haven't. I think we did on one episode briefly. Okay. I would love to go over there, and I went to England for 11 days, and I don't want with this Feed Me More Nutrition now. I can't go away for 11 days. Mm-hmm. That job is a full-time job of its own. But I would like to go over there and wrestle the top Japanese talent, and I would like to, if Michael Elgin wants to try to feel like a big boy and get in the ring with the big guy, I would throw him around and I will show him what being a big guy is all about. Like there's people over there, and anybody who questions my talent and my capabilities, they will see firsthand when they get in the ring with me that I am the real deal. And I could tell stories about guys that didn't know that they got in the ring with me and they were huffing and puffing and they couldn't handle it. And that's from top WWE guys to to guys on the independents. So
Would you say who? Do I dare say who or no?
no, out of respect to them, it's not.
Out of respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't. It doesn't need to be on a personal level, but don't underestimate me. If you want to fucking test me, test me. I never let you down.
The other one was Lucha Underground. Do we even say anything about that? That was the one. It's up to you.
Totally cool. I know you dealt with them, and
Yeah, I mean it was summertime, so it was a while ago. But when this all kind of happens, I talked thoroughly with someone from there. I mean, I'll say who it was. It was Vampiro, and we talked about a lot of different ideas and concerns, and a long conversation, and then it kind of.
You know what turned me off with that? Because
What?
you came to me and there was a decent for their tapings and for the period that they have. It was a decent money offer for what it was.
For what they had, yeah.
But there was something in there, and even that I think could have been better, and we could have got it better. But they wanted like a year of a contract for where I couldn't compete anywhere TV wise for a year.
Yeah.
Right? And
there was two things in that I thought that was kind of weird. Was like that they were like, because that's the thing too. They've had guys sign 7-year contracts.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so let me speak on that real quick. And for everybody
Sure.
listening, fans hear the word contract and I think they get like, oh man, that's so cool. So like a contract is a bunch of legal bullshit. And then you sign your name and your date on a bunch of fucking lines. And then you show up and then people can fucking tell you what to do. And
they also think it's like recurring money around the clock.
No.
It's just like completely, you're made.
Yeah. So you're signing away your character and your identity when you sign a contract. That is what you are fucking signing. So like everyone thinking like, and it's not the same as signing a Major League Baseball contract or an NFL contract. You are signing a contract for an organization and not lucha, but just wrestling in general, where people, the majority of the audience believe the fucking movie is real. So they think whatever you portray on that movie, they think is who you fucking are. So that is a huge major problem if you want to do other things in life. Unless you're booked to be like the ultimate good guy. Like then you have some fucking options. But if you're not, then you don't.
Now with the other one I had here was TNA. Well, which is not TNA any longer. I believe they've rebranded themselves as Impact Wrestling. I think it's still kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Now, the ring posts say Anthem on it. But, talks with going there because there was, seen some rumors online.
Yeah, no, we've talked to everybody. And again, it's knowing who and what you are and what you have going on. Get your shit together. And I mean that in the best positive way. Like you don't have your shit together. You don't have live events. You don't have structure. You can't tell us what's going on. So it's why am I as a brand? I own my brand. Why am I going to sign a contract? I'm not going to be a fucking mark. Like
that's what
it comes
you're
down
saying
to.
that there. Most companies, and I think this is with every company, is that they just want to get you on their terms, and they feel like that almost every talent, because there's such a lack of work out there, that people are going to be desperate and just be, sign away whatever, just to be involved with whatever company's offering them something.
And I told you I don't care about TV. I got a voice now. We have more than enough listens. I have everything. I'm making more than enough money with my Feed Me More Nutrition. Like I don't need to be on TV to be recognized. I never did it to do that to begin with. I did it because I loved pro wrestling as a kid. Like that means nothing to me. I wrestled Matt Hardy at the worst point of my life, more beat up than I've ever been before I got my back and shoulder right. And and everything was great. Like I don't need to just go there to show up to fucking say like, I need attention, guys. I need Ryback to be seen by the people. Like I want them to like have everything together. Like I know who and what I am, and I know what I offered WWE and what the fuck they could have done with me, and what they did do with me, and we made a lot of money for a period of time. And it's like I don't need to just go there and just like because I want to be on TV. I like TNA, and I think they have a lot of great They have a great future ahead of them, but get your shit together. Know what you're doing. Get live events fucking structured. If you guys want to be the number 2 company in the world, pull your head out of your ass and fucking do it, because you're making the fucking wrestlers' lives better. You're creating competition with WWE, and you're creating more possibilities. New Japan Pro Wrestling, put on more fucking shows like you're doing with Kenny Omega and those fucking guys in the Bullet Club. And fucking get your heads out of your ass and start fucking putting it to WWE and letting all them fucking control everything all the time. Because them controlling everything all the time fucking sucks. Like, god damn it. Like, everybody, the guys, wrestling's an individual sport, and you're going to get me fucking fired up again. And wrestling,
It's going well.
Wrestling,
God damn it.
Wrestling is fucking an individual sport, but it is a fucking team sport at the end of the day. And that's what I said when I wrote that goddamn fucking blog when I left WWE about the money and about the guys. Those guys, you're John fucking Cena's, or not the fucking movie star John Cena without every other supporting role in that movie. So that is what I am fucking bringing up. And fucking everybody needs to pull together. It is a team effort at the end of the day. You know why? It's fucking fake. Fucking news alert fucking marks. It's fucking fake. And you guys, the fucking guys need to pull themselves together rather than fucking, it's individual at points, yes, but it's a team sport at the end of the day. And like, nothing gets better unless the guys fucking unite and fucking can make it better together. And it sucks. And like, I want it fucking better because it's not the right way right now. And everybody there knows it's not the right way. And everybody
Sure.
in TNA knows it's not the right way. WWE, Lucha, everybody knows it's not the right way. And I'm sure every promotion is different how it's ran, but it can be better. And that's the point of living life, is evolving and making it better, because life just fucking, it's meant to evolve. It's not meant to just because you learned something 20 years ago doesn't mean that's the right way. Make it better.
I think on that note, we wrap this up on another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy. I'm going to remind everybody that this is approaching Royal Rumble week. Look out for number 26. But the Royal Rumble is right around the corner. You know what that means. WrestleRumble.com is hosting their annual Royal Rumble Pick'em contest. It's the biggest pick'em of the year on WrestleRumble.com, with $1,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs. You don't want to miss out. You pick the winners of the matches, you guess the order of the Royal Rumble entrance, earn points for picking correctly, and the most points wins. It's as simple as that. First place is $500, 2 tickets to Mania. Second place, $200 cash and 2 tickets to Mania. Get the most points for the Royal Rumble match questions and win 2 tickets to NXT TakeOver Orlando. Visit WrestleRumble.com to see the entire prize list, and please follow them on Twitter at WrestleRumble, because they sponsored this show, which is great. You know that line?
And guys, sign up at WrestleRumble.com. Tell them the big guy sent you. And also check out RybackRules.com. That's where Feed Me More Nutrition is being sold for the next few days. FeedMeMore.com will be up any day, and I'll be making announcements on social media. Thank you guys very much for listening. You have just listened to another episode of Conversation with the Big Guy.
Napa know-how.
The Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.